Several months ago, my dumbass made a video clowning on the Brewers after they traded away Corbin Burns, basically just going all in on their impending demise while teams like the Reds and Pirates are on the come up. I mean, their longtime manager also not just left, but decided to go to the Brewers' biggest rival? The vibes couldn't have been worse for Milwaukee. I mean, things look bad, right? Well, if you're part of the 70% of viewers not subscribed yet, come aboard and join the wonderful subscribers of the channel, as some might say I have a superpower, the power of shit talking teams to the promised land, because the Brewers have responded to my doubts by very clearly being the best team in their division. Everyone else has either been mid or bad, while the Brewers, led by their new manager Pat Murphy, have just played really well, and a lot of aspects on the team have been better than expected. Like the hitting, for one, has actually been really good. Rookie Jackson Chourio, arguably the best prospect in baseball and someone who signed the richest contract ever for a player who didn't play a single major league game yet, has been really bad, which sucks to see. I have faith he'll get it together. He's too young and talented, but besides him, it's been a ton of positives. Christian Yelich has had some back issues, but he's hitting like his MVP self. Joey Ortiz has been one of the best third basemen in baseball, one of the guys they got in the Corbin Burns trade. Gary Sanchez has been good. Willie Adames is hitting. William Contreras continues to arguably be the best catcher in baseball. I mean, the Brewers' offense is literally the third best in baseball by OPS. They're getting on base more than anyone, and this is all a big deal because the Brewers usually always had a weaker offense to go with their really good pitching. Now they have good pitching to go with a suddenly great offense. Best of both worlds, and not only are the Brewers coming out the gates hot to combat that video and any doubts anyone had that they would be good, but they're doing it with vengeance, with anger. They're not on that Superman energy. They're on that Batman energy. They're not pulling any punches this year. Literally. The Brewers have been at about 95% of benches clearing incidents this year. Don't fact check that, just go with it. Although they actually have it at the top of baseball with this, and the percentage is actually really high. They're just ready to go at all times. They do not care. You do anything that resembles anger, they're coming at you. There's gonna be beef, and I'm talking burnt, like no pink. I mean, the Brewers are heating beef from previous teams up, swinging at dudes, enticing people to say this in post-game interviews.
I'm prepared to fuck somebody up.
I mean, there is a whole lot of tension going on between the Brewers and other teams in our Lord's year of 2024, and it all started on the literal first day of the season. I mean, the Brewers wasted zero time being the bullies of baseball. Rhys Hoskins has been a nice addition to the team, coming off of his lost 2023 season after the horrible freak injury, stopping him from what he knew would be his final year in Philly, so he's there killing it. He did deal with a hamstring injury recently, but when he's on the field, he's been good starting from day one. And on that same day one, after sliding in a way Jeff McNeil didn't appreciate, McNeil started to lose it, eventually clearing the bases with Hoskins mocking McNeil. Obviously, when Hoskins was on Philly for the many years he played against the Mets a lot, so there was kind of a history there that McNeil already was on edge about. But it didn't end there, because the next day, fans started to let Hoskins hear it, booing him, only for Hoskins to drive in 4 runs on 3 hits, one of them flying into the stands for his first Brewers homer. One day he's mocking you, then homering off of you. Very on brand to start the season, considering the anger and edge the Brewers have only continued to play with. And by the way, I'm going to right or wrong each incident by my opinion, and because I hate democracy, you can only agree with me in the comment. No, I'm just kidding. Feel free to agree or disagree in the comments. But for the first one against the Mets, I'm going to say the Brewers were on the right here. The slide wasn't anything that dirty. I think McNeil overreacted, and Hoskins hitting a homer the next day while getting booed was just the cherry on top. In the beginning of April, during a game in Baltimore, James McCann and Willie Adames started arguing at home plate. The benches cleared, but according to Adames after the game, it was the result of a misunderstanding from earlier in the game. The inning before that, Adames had hit a big 3-run homer, so some speculated that that could have been something, but Adames later said that had nothing to do with it, with McCann saying that none of it was even between him and Adames, saying something else was going on. Very strange in the end, considering the lack of any issues seemingly going on, and nobody wanted to say anything about what this misunderstanding that I'll deem the Brewers on the right for, because I don't see anything that was done wrong, but whatever. We got crazier things to talk about, because a few weeks later at the end of April, when Jose Siri admired a home run off of Freddie Peralta a bit, Peralta didn't like it, hitting him on a 3-0 fastball his next time up and immediately getting ejected for it, which I find to be the right move, honestly. I never like that. If you don't like someone pimping a home run off of you, get him out next time. It's that simple. And in this case, Siri didn't even pimp it that crazy. Nothing that exaggerated or dramatic. I just am not a fan of throwing at him for that, but whatever. So Peralta gets ejected. Siri comes back up in the 8th against pitcher Abner Uribe, grounds out before Uribe says something to Siri and looks down at him. Siri didn't like it, starts to talk back to Uribe, who then reaches out to slap Siri, misses, maybe got a finger on him. Siri starts swinging back at Hoskins, who is trying to break it up, falls down, all hell breaks loose, and for this one, I'm going to give the Brewers the L. They got the W that day, but as far as the situation, they shouldn't have thrown at Siri. To me, that's just petty behavior, and as far as the boxing match, Siri wins considering he landed more hits, so they're in the wrong here, at least in my eyes. For May's benches clearing incident, it happened at first base at Fenway Park when pitcher Chris Martin said something I don't even know was directed at Quentin Berry, specifically the Brewers first base coach, but he said some stuff Berry didn't like, starting to yell at Martin. The benches cleared and nothing really happened, but what this was about Martin's frustration with the Brewers bunting on him. They started off the inning with a bunt single and then laid another one down to move him over, so when Martin got the final out of the inning, he let his anger out, and after the game, he still acknowledged his hate for bunting, but kind of admitted a lot of what happened was due to him just being in the heat of the moment, saying, literally, heat of the moment. They bunted twice. You see they bunted there at the end of the game. I know it's part of the game, but it is what it is. Later saying that he kind of takes it as a compliment, if anything, that they don't think they can hit him, but he feels that in Major League Baseball at this level, they should just swing the bat. And the Brewers get the W from me here. Not that the Red Sox did anything that wrong. I just don't love Martin complaining about the bunts. It's almost like excuses. At the end of the day, like he even said himself, it's part of the game. There's nothing illegal or even cheap about it. Bunts almost just give you an out most of the time anyway. So I do understand as a pitcher, though, it's probably very frustrating. And so that anger was getting let out in the moment, anger that first base coach Berry heard and took exception to, which I think it's fine. He's standing up for his own guys who are allowed to bunt. So there's that. And then we get to what I believe is the best one so far, the best Brewers benches clearing moment. And also with that, because of this one happening on June 1st, the streak continues. The Brewers have had at least one benches clearing altercation in March, April, May, and now June. At this point, if they don't keep this going through the rest of the year, I'm going to be pissed. But anyway, it was sooner or later that Tommy Pham was going to take on the Brewers and become another one of their enemies. I mean, Tommy Pham, the most amped up, aggressive player in baseball, him not confronting the Brewers this season would be like Luke Skywalker not fighting Darth Vader or something. It's just bound to happen. After a play at the plate where Pham was out by a mile, Contreras and the Brewers started yelling at Pham, who of course wasn't going to take that, so he starts yelling back at them, and it was at this moment where the Chicago White Sox announcer became my favorite announcer in baseball, dropping one of the hardest lines I've heard in a minute, where he goes, "I don't care how many L's we have this year, we ain't taking that." What a call. Shout out to him. Imagine if the White Sox were actually good. That would be fun to listen to him call those teams. But anyway, the bench is kind of cleared here, although nothing happened. Pham most definitely wanted something to happen. We know that, especially because of what he said after the game.
I'm going to the dugout, and I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah shit, so I'll never start anything, but I'll be prepared to finish it. There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to fuck somebody up, so you can take it as what it is.
I'll give the Brewers a W for this one. I love Pham's energy and willingness to fight 24/7, but you can't hate the Brewers at all for getting all pumped up in the moment as they roll on to another win. This team is just different this year, and I honestly love it. Not only are they talented, like I went over, but they're playing with an edge. They're pissed off. They hate me. They hate any other doubters out there. They hate Jose Siri. They hate everyone. If you're not with them, you're the enemy. That's the Brewers' mantra in 2024, and I'm excited to see what else they have in store. Damn, I didn't even mean to rhyme there, but let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.